The Thai Cave Rescue, the 18-day miracle of 12 boys and one coach. The day they entered the cave, and everything changed. June 23, 2018. In the Chiang Rai region of northern Thailand, the weather appeared normal at first glance. After soccer practice, 12 members of a youth football team known as the Wild Boars decided to go on a small adventure. Accompanying them was their 25-year-old coach, Ikapol Chantawong. The boys were between 11 and 16 years old, and most of them had visited the Tham Luang cave before. The cave is considered one of Thailand's most famous natural landmarks. Stretching more than 10 kilometers in length, it consists of narrow tunnels, dark passageways, and underground chambers. Their plan was simple: enter the cave, explore for a while, and return home a few hours later. None of them knew that this day would change their lives forever and make headlines around the world. As they ventured deeper into the cave, monsoon rains began to fall across the region. Technically, the rainy season had not fully started yet, so no one expected serious danger. However, the rainfall that day was far heavier than normal. Water began flooding the entrance passages of the cave. When the boys attempted to return, parts of the route were already submerged. Within hours, the situation spiraled completely out of control. Their exit was cut off, forcing them to retreat deeper into the cave and climb onto a rocky ledge nearly 4 kilometers from the entrance. In front of them was only darkness. Behind them stood tons of rushing water, fighting for survival in the depths of the cave. During the first night, the boys believed the problem would be temporary. They were convinced that rescuers would arrive quickly and lead them out. But hours slowly turned into days. They had almost no food with them. To survive, they drank water dripping from the cave walls. Temperatures dropped during the night, while the complete darkness placed immense psychological pressure on everyone. Under such conditions, even the strongest individuals can fall into panic and despair.
This is where Coach Ekapol's role became critical. During his youth, he had lived in a Buddhist monastery and practiced meditation. He taught the boys to remain calm, conserve their energy, and move as little as possible. Doctors would later state that these decisions played a major role in keeping the boys alive. Without food, the human body loses energy rapidly. To maintain morale, they told stories, talked about their families, and waited patiently for time to pass. Occasionally, they could hear the distant sound of water. Sometimes it brought fear. Other times, it gave them hope. One of the largest search operations in the world. When the boys failed to return home, their parents immediately contacted authorities. At the cave entrance, rescuers discovered the boys' bicycles and backpacks. This confirmed they were trapped inside. The Thai government launched a massive rescue operation without delay. During the first days, local rescue teams attempted to enter the cave, but strong currents and muddy floodwaters made progress nearly impossible. Once international media began covering the story, help started arriving from around the world.
The United States Air Force, British cave divers, Australian specialists, and hundreds of volunteers from multiple countries traveled to Thailand. More than 10,000 people eventually participated in the operation. Thousands of soldiers, hundreds of divers, engineers, and volunteers worked around the clock. Some teams searched for alternative entry points by drilling into the mountain from above. Others focused on pumping millions of liters of water out of the cave system. Local farmers even agreed to let their fields flood so water could be diverted away from the cave. The miracle that arrived after 9 days. On July 2, 2018, one of the most unforgettable moments in modern rescue history took place. British cave divers Rick Stanton and John Volanthen were navigating through the flooded cave system when they suddenly spotted human silhouettes on a rocky ledge in the darkness. At first, they could hardly believe what they were seeing. Then, they heard voices. They had found the boys. After 9 days trapped underground, all 13 people were alive. Volanthen asked them a simple question in English. "How many of you?" The answer came immediately. 13. That moment was later broadcast across the globe and moved millions of people to tears. Yet, the crisis was far from over. Finding the boys had been the easy part. Getting them out would be far more difficult. The most dangerous rescue plan in history. Rescuers faced an enormous challenge.
Even professional cave divers required hours of underwater travel to reach the boys' location. Some passages were so narrow that divers had to remove their oxygen tanks and push them ahead by hand. Most of the boys did not even know how to swim. If one child panicked underwater, both the child and the rescuer could lose their lives.
Eventually, an unprecedented rescue plan was developed. The boys would wear specialized diving masks, receive sedative medication to prevent panic, and be escorted through the flooded cave system by expert divers. It was an incredibly risky decision. If the medication wore off or a mask became dislodged, the outcome could be catastrophic. Yet rescuers saw no other viable option. The day a hero lost his life. Before the rescue mission officially began, tragedy struck. On July 6, 2018, former Thai Navy SEAL Saman Kunan was placing oxygen tanks along the rescue route when he ran out of oxygen and lost consciousness. He died while trying to save the trapped boys. His death shocked the entire nation. People now fully understood how dangerous this operation truly was. Saman Kunan was later honored as a national hero, and his sacrifice became one of the defining symbols of the rescue effort. The rescue after 18 days. On July 8, 2018, the first phase of the extraction began. 4 boys were successfully brought out of the cave. Television networks around the world broadcast the news live. The following day, 4 more boys were rescued. Then, on July 10, the remaining boys and Coach Akapol were safely extracted. After 18 days underground, the ordeal was finally over. All 13 survivors were alive.
The operation is widely regarded as one of the most successful and complex rescue missions in modern history. It has been studied by emergency response organizations worldwide, featured in documentaries and major films, and celebrated as an extraordinary example of international cooperation and human determination. Why the world still remembers this story? This is not simply the story of children trapped inside a cave. It is the story of what human beings are capable of when confronted with impossible odds. Despite darkness, hunger, fear, and the constant threat of death, 12 boys and their coach refused to give up. At the same time, people from across the globe united for a single purpose: bringing them home alive. Perhaps that is why this story continues to inspire millions of people. Sometimes the greatest miracles in the world are not created by technology. Sometimes they happen because people choose to help one another. If you enjoy real and incredible stories like this, don't forget to follow BAAL and like the video.